Hey, everybody, it's Anthony Brogdon, your main man at Strong Inspirations. And I'm excited. I got a dear friend of mine on the channel. And let me tell you, and I grew up with this guy. Matter of fact, me and this guy got a whooping together once for something he did. I was just standing next to him and I had to take one for the team. We go that far back. I was thinking of what, just kind of going over my mind of some good people to bring on the show. And something hit me like, you can't get no closer than this young man. And the story is extremely good. I'm gonna let him tell it, but let me put it that way. Y'all see his shirt. It's about Legends. The NBA basketball. All right, he got lineage in his family. And so everybody, I want you to hit the strong, I want you to hit the subscribe button on this channel. I want you to hit the like button on this video, because if you know anything, any kind of sports enthusiast, you are excited as I am to have this young man on the channel. Good looking guy too, on the channel here at Strong Inspirations. Hit the notifications bell, because I'm putting them up. I'm rolling. The train has left the station and it's not coming back because it's too much information, too many ways to tell it, too much out there. And you don't get it all in no one perspective. And I want to be even in my delivery of what might be now journalism, everybody. Did you see the video I did with Josh Gibson's great-great-grandson? It's on the channel. Did you see the one I did with the guy who was the curator of the museum at the Kentucky Derby? He says the first jockeys that were winning, and one guy in particular, are Black guys at the Kentucky Derby. I didn't know that. I know there's been some that ran, you hear about it here and there, but not the ones that won the most at the Kentucky Derby. Got that guy on the channel. Did you see the one video I got on the channel about the history of Blacks in motor car racing? Watch that video. It's very interesting stories. And when we get our hands on something, we dominate. All right. Did you see the one that I did with the guy who says he got the documentation that there was a Black guy who played Major League Baseball before Jackie Robinson? If you hadn't heard that, you want to watch that video. And there ain't no disputing it. This did happen. But the guy was very fair complected, and it was a different kind of baseball league. He still got paid. It was pro baseball. Watch that video. Oh man, we jamming here at Strong Inspirations. Yeah, and I'm excited that my man has come on the channel, and he put on the shirt and hat for us. He decorated to be on this show. Everybody, as you might know, I'm a filmmaker. Here go my movie. It's called Business in the Black, The Rise of Black Business in America. One of the things we talk about relative to sports is how a Black guy and a bunch of other Black guys, and some white guys got their hand in it too, started Major League, Negro League Baseball. We talk about the founding of Negro League Baseball in this film, and a bunch of other stuff. I went from there, and my movie's streaming on Amazon. Just, you can watch it, download it right there, in the comforts of your home. Yeah, do it today. It's good. I ain't gonna lie to you, that just because I did it. And then I wrote this book. It's called Black Business Book. It's over 200 facts. And we talk about baseball in this too. Because at one time, the Negro League Baseball was the biggest corporation, Black owned in America. And they were huge. They were national. Black guys started that. So get a copy of my book, everybody. Let me tell you something. The book is so good that if you get a copy, you read it, and you don't learn nothing new, I give your money back. Boom shaka laka, a money back guarantee on a book. I never heard that before. I invented it because I really want you to have this, and I'm that confident. One more thing, my man's sitting there waiting too. I know he got things to do. He be running around here and there and all this. But I got to tell y'all, my viewers, I got my own Black History Festival. I'm gonna go fast on this. Y'all need to be there because I said so. It's May 27th through the 29th in Kansas City, Kansas. Y'all need to show up. It's a nominal fee for the weekend pass, which includes food. And it's gonna be good food. When we partying in a barn, Friday night, we got stuff going. It's a complete itinerary. Excuse me, complete. Now, also, you hear me use this term. Oh, no, let me say this. Before that, go to my website, businessandtheblack.net. Go there and everything is on the website. Now, you hear me use this term strong a lot. Strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that's my introduction from my guest today. He's a strong man, tall dude, and all that. He good guy too. He a strong man. Come on in and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How's everybody doing this PM? My name is Kevin Lloyd. Like Anthony said, maybe we've been friends since knee high almost, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. We started in grade school together. I'm Kevin Lloyd. I'm the middle son of Mr. Earl Lloyd. Earl Lloyd, my dad, was the first, not one of the first, but the first Black to play in the NBA, the National Basketball Association. So my father, and I can't, let me back up a little bit. I can't take out Chuck Cooper and Sweetwater Clifton that came in the same year, same time. It's just a coincidence that my father played the day before they did. So I got to show them some love too. Earl Lloyd was the first one to set foot on the court and open the doors, or help open the doors for the days Kobe Bryant's, Michael Jordan's, Magic Johnson's, and so on.
And now let me ask you this, and I'm just saying it because our viewers don't know, but you grew up where? Because I talk about my guests personally on their own token. Just a second.
Well, Anthony, you know, we grew up in the northwest side of Detroit. You grew up on Princeton. I grew up on LaSalle.
Right.
That's two blocks away. LaSalle, Linwood.
Yeah.
Now
because you grew up in Detroit, but your dad didn't grow up here. Why was he in Detroit when you grew up?
Well, you know, my dad was born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is right Washington, D.C. And from Alexandria, Virginia, he went to West Virginia State, where he was All-American basketball player at West Virginia State. And from there, he went to Washington Wizards. They were called the Washington Capitals back then in 1950.
So that was the first team you drafted.
And he went to six. That's what he played with, drafted, right. They were called the Washington Capitals then in 1950. So he spent 7 games or 8 games for the Washington Capitals and had to go to the Army, and spent 2 years in the Army and came back to the Army and went to Syracuse Nationals, which they are the 76ers now. The Philadelphia 76ers now. Okay. And he played with them for several years and got traded to Detroit Pistons in 1958. And my father spent over 2 decades in the Pistons organizations as a number of positions. Okay. Not only a player, he was my father's assistant coach there. Go ahead.
You said he grew up in Virginia. How tall was he?
6'8", around 240.
How good did he do in high school?
Phenomenal, All-American. I mean, I don't want to took my father's home, but he was All-American in high school.
Well, so at 6'8", what position did he play in high school and then in college?
Center. And in college. And in the pros,
let me ask you this: 6'8" nowadays is short. Was that tall for the time?
Man, I have to disagree with you. If we're in 2022, if you 6'8" and 240, you big as hell today.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how it was in 1950. It wasn't even fair.
So at that time, he was anomaly being that tall, that big, and that agile and whatnot.
And quick, the whole ball of wax. You know,
was he kind of like so good that he could have been And if I can compare a player like a Wilt Chamberlain, the way he dominated.
No. Wilt Chamberlain's one of a kind, man. You can't, no. If you had to compare my father to somebody today, I would compare my father to like a Dennis Rodman, Charles Oakley, big, play defense, crash the boards for you.
Okay. Now at Virginia State, that's a black college. Wasn't it rare for them to even pick black players at the time?
No. This is West Virginia State, all black school.
Okay.
CIAA conference.
But West that's Virginia a black State. College, right?
Black college, all through and through.
So what I'm saying is, was it rare for the NBA to pick black players from players from black colleges?
If you're the first, it's very rare. Very rare. But they saw something. They saw something that folks didn't see.
Okay, how about this one? Do you know if at the time were there black players at white colleges?
That I'm not sure of, but I doubt it very seriously. I don't want to quote myself because I'm not sure, but I doubt it very seriously. My father told me his 4 years in college, man, he never ran across a white player until he got to the pros. And my father played in the CI back then. They only had the CIAA, and they had the MEAC conference.
Right. When he played, what was his average? Do you know in college?
His college average was like 15 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. Over a 4-year span.
But like you said, he went and grabbed the rebound. If there was a ball off the basket, he got it.
Let me tell you this, man. In college, in 4 years, my father was a 2-time All-American, 3-time All-Conference. He made player of the decade now from 1950 to 1960, the best player to come out. And he was an all-century team. That means out of 12 players that ever played college basketball, my father was in the top 12. So he was just phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. His accolades speak for himself.
Let's go back a little bit further on him, then. Who taught him basketball?
Now that I don't know. He was just my father was just a gifted athlete, Anthony. My father was a baseball player too in college, really? In high school, a good one. He got drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1950, and like my father said, he was a better baseball player than he was basketball. He just didn't. Where he got drafted to, it was somewhere in Oklahoma where it was some downtown. He's the nah. I can't do that. It was somewhere in Oklahoma. I don't know what city it was, but it was whatever city it was. It was some downtown in Oklahoma. So he had to let that go.
So now, go ahead.
And when, he just went the basketball route, and the basketball route served him well.
When he came into the league, you mentioned there were other guys that came in also. Were they also, I guess, from HBCUs and?
No, one guy named Chuck Cooper was from Duquesne, and the other guy was Sweetwater Clifton. I'm not sure where he went to school, but he came from the Globetrotters, but was pretty good also. No, not pretty good, but was real good also. So in 1950, it was only those 3 players: my father, Chuck Cooper, and Sweetwater Clifton.
Now, when the team drafted him, other than him being good, because there were guys that were good before him, was there something in the conditions that made them pull the trigger to go ahead and integrate like they did?
I'm not sure. I can't. We talking about 1950, man. So we talking about 75 years ago.
Yeah, I just wondered if it was something like. The team was losing real bad, and the owner said, "I got to come up with something." And then he drafted
I guess they had the CIAA conference, man, and they played the conference tournaments at that time in Washington D.C.
Okay.
So they had a chance to see my father firsthand for free. They didn't got to go scout nobody, send no scouts. They right there, right in your backyard, at this tournament. And my father he performed 4 years straight, man. And come 1950. The spring of 1950, they're like, listen here, man, we're going to take a chance on you. My father said he got, go ahead.
Okay, how about this? When he came into the league, did he face and tell you stories of the racism, you know, the way people cussing at him, spitting at him, all that?
Man, come on. He had every name you can imagine. My father's from Alexandria, Virginia, Jim Crow. So you can imagine how he grew up. So these arenas he went to, man, they was like a cakewalk. He was like, that's all you guys got? I mean, but you hear every name in the book. I mean, he would hit an N-word on a regular.
Did anybody try to put their hands on him?
Man, they fought every time. My father tells stories where, listen here, man, we're going to Boston. It's going to be a fight. And whatever you do, don't grab me. I can, my father's 6'8", 240. My father's like, whatever you do, don't grab me. I can fend for myself. Because if you grab me, one of them white boys is going to sucker punch me. He knew it was going to be a fight.
Who was fighting him? The other players?
Yeah, the other team.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about they having a fight during the game.
A dirty play, and it's only popping. If it's a dirty play, my father thinks it's a dirty play, it's only popping. Or vice versa, it's only popping. They might thought my father was kind of weak, but they found out real quick he wasn't weak. But it's going to be a fight. I'll tell you one time, man. This is my father's rookie year in Washington. My grandmother and grandfather at the game. My grandfather and grandmother the only blacks in the arena. And my father's only black, on the floor. So the white boys are talking, and one white boy was talking to the other white boy, with my grandmother right next to him, asking, one white boy to the other white boy, asking each other, do you think this nigga can play? In front of my grandmother. My grandmother tapped the guy on the shoulder and said, believe me, the nigga can play. That's one of my father's stories. He said, believe me, he can play. But you go, man, at that time, it was only 8 teams in the league, Anthony. So you play a lot of teams a lot of times because you still play the same amount of games. And these teams, Boston, Fort Wayne, Indiana, St. Louis, those cities, man, in 1950 were beyond racist. Beyond racist. That those cities, some of those cities that he went to, Anthony, you get to the hotel and the manager said, we don't allow niggas here. Flat out, you got to find another racist form. And my father, everybody knew my father on campus at West Virginia State. So every city he went to, there was somebody there that, Earl, we got you. Every time you come here, you can stay with us. But those 3 cities, man, like I say, Fort Wayne, Boston, St. Louis, were the 3 most places that my father said that was the play in.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a fight tonight. Something's gonna jump off.
Did they pay him less than other players, or it was they did?
I think, man, I think everybody got paid the same amount of money, man. My father's rookie season in 1950, I think it was like $5,000. But back then, to my 1950, $5,000 was a lot of money back then. But I think they was on the same pay grade.
Okay. They ain't tried to mess him with it.
No. But I'll tell you, but my father tells the story, man. A lot of folks didn't give my father a chance in hell to make the Capitals back in 1950. He got the camp, man. They had all Americans from Georgetown, North Carolina, South Carolina State, UCLA. Those schools, University of Southern California, those schools are heavy hitters. They're heavy hitters today.
Sure. So,
but my father said, shit, I'm All-American too. But, my father got on the court, man, everything's even now. It was unheard of what he was doing. And I'm sure the coaches and GM like, in their minds, we need him. This is just what we need.
Was he a massive dunker and all that? Was dunking going on?
No. He forgets. No. Back then they weren't doing all that fancy stuff, man. In the 1950s, man. He was just somebody who they needed, man. Somebody who he gonna crash the boards, play tough defense for you, and get the job done. And he always played the opposite team's best player. Whoever your best player is, put him on me. I got him.
Did he?
I don't know if you heard of back then, my father, George Michael. George Michael was 7'1", 240, 250. Elgin Baylor. It's amazing what he did on the court. But I got him. And my father's thing was, you're going to get your points, but you're going to earn every point you get. I'm going to try to slow you down. If I can keep you under your average, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of them players talk a lot of trash back then because Elgin Baylor, he's from DC. And usually back then, the black players would have lunch together the day of the game. And Elgin Baylor was, man, he was a hell-of-a shooter. And he told my father, he said, well, all right, big fella, tonight, I'm taking you down low. My father said, Elgin, let me just tell you this. You take me down low, it's going to be hard because you're going to be on your ass.
I love it. So so how did the team do? How well did the team play when he was at Washington?
The team had folded and moved, and Syracuse picked him up. And my father spent like 8 years in Syracuse, man. My father got a chip. My father was the first black to win a championship. And Jim Tucker.
Really? Yeah.
All you got to Google all this. He was the first black to get a championship, man. His team was the first team to go back-to-back NBA championships. They're the first to do it. So my father, he was pretty good, man.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Did the 2 years took something out of him though, didn't it? A little bit.
My father said when he got out of the service, man, he came back. He said, man, he was like a Todd Villain double. He was in the best shape. He said, I was in the best shape of my life. He was ready for anything came at him.
Do you have an idea of what his best game was stat-wise, or one of them?
My father played for Syracuse Nationals, which was a phenomenal team. They had a player named Dolph Shays that was their top man. He got hurt. He sprained his ankle, man, and was out like for 4 or 5 games. And those 4 or 5 games that he was out, my father averaged 25 points a game. But when he came back, he like, Earl, you know the deal. I'm back. The ball comes to me now. And my father knew that. He didn't have a problem with it. But just let you know what kind of player he was. While he was up, my father was killing him. But back then, they didn't want black players, to take them kind of shots and have them kind of points.
Oh, so you think there might have been something just trying to hold them down a little bit?
I ain't gonna say hold him down, but when the white boy came back, man, he was his team. I'm back.
Yeah.
Everything comes to me now. You get a rebound, you give it to me.
In his heyday, did he is he ever on the cover of Ebony or Jet? No,
man,
kind of thing?
Man, we talking about 1950, 1960, man. It wasn't that kind of party back then, man. Nah, not that I know of. For sure.
But was he national? Did he become a celebrity?
It all depends in your mind when you say celebrity. What do you mean by celebrity?
Well, okay, but for some reason, the guy in basketball isn't known like Jackie Robinson in baseball.
But baseball different from basketball, though, man. But my father did Jackie Robinson basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, when is baseball, Jackie Robinson? Do we know?
When is what?
When does Jackie Robinson go into baseball?
3 years before my father did, 1947.
But why is
3 years before my father did?
Okay, but I guess I'm asking, was there a lot of fanfare in the black community that he came on the team?
I don't think so. No fanfare. I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, you might have fanfare from his home, from Washington, D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia, and West Virginia State. That was his family back then, man. They're the only ones who were rooting for him, and of course his mother and father. But nobody gave him a chance. Nobody gave him a chance to make the team. But like I said, his family, West Virginia State, and now his people in Alexandria, Virginia. He's like, I'm putting you on my shoulder, man. I got this. I just need a shot, an even shot.
Do they know the other players more than your dad? Because he came from a small school, people nationally, had they heard of him before he got in there?
No, I don't think so. It only took 3 days to open their eyes up. After the third day, when my father came to practice, Earl, you on this side now. You with us.
Really?
He said, it was a wrap.
Let me ask you this. Did he give you some idea of how he celebrated being in the league?
It wouldn't, I don't think it was no big deal. You know, my father was the first black assistant coach in the game, the first black head coach, the first black bench coach in the NBA. Bill Russell was the first coach, but Bill Russell was a player coach. My father was the first black bench coach in the NBA, the first black scout in the NBA, the first black announcer in the NBA. So my father has a lot of firsts, man. He never tooted his horn, but he opened the door for a lot of folks.
Did your father play against Bill Russell?
Oh yeah. They played 5 years together. Bill Russell was a good friend of my father's. Good friend. You know, they put a statue of my father at West Virginia State, a bronze statue of my father at West Virginia State. And Bill Russell came down there, man, to support him, which was really nice. So we hung out and kicked it for 3 days straight, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, man.
Yeah.
And they're only 5 years apart, because Bill Russell, my father lived to be 93. So I think Bill Russell's 88, 89 years old today.
Yeah.
But every time Bill Russell sees me, hey Lloyd, how you doing? He still be mad love. Every time I see Bill Russell, I'm gonna tell you a story about Bill Russell. When I was a little kid, because you know, I traveled with my father, man, and I could see Bill Russell on a regular. And I had to tell Bill Russell, man, I'm gonna be as tall as you one day. He said, little man, he called me little Lloyd, you got a long way to go. A long way. Every time I see him, you got a long, as I start getting taller and taller, he said, you're getting there, but you still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And once I reach my peak, I'm 6'9", 240. Once I reach my peak, and we nose to nose, I'm like, Mr. Russell, did I make it? He said, you made it, big fella. You made it.
How did his career end?
My dad's?
Yeah.
Coaching career.
Because he was the Pistons coach at one point, wasn't he?
You know, man, and when you a coach, it don't matter what sport it is, football, basketball, baseball, black, white, it don't matter. When you're not winning, they're gonna go in another direction. The Pistons weren't winning. And at this time, what I said, they didn't give my father a fair shot because their two main guys were hurt. Bob Lanier was hurt, Dave Bean was hurt. And I'm not gonna call the reserve garbage, but they wasn't Dave Bean and they wasn't Bob Lanier. And then in 1972, they came out the gate, man, they went like 2-7 or 3-8, something like that, man.
I know he's in the Hall of Fame. When did he get elected to the Hall of Fame?
2003. Time that I see James Worthy or Robert Parrish, they know who I am. Lloyd, how you doing? How's everything? How's the family?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just ran into James Worthy and Robert Parrish. I went to the All-Star game, and I was in the room where they had the 75 greatest players of all time. I was kind of starstruck. But only two guys that I really talked to. Well, four guys I talked to Dennis Rodman for a minute. Of course, I talked to Worthy, Robert Parrish, and that's it. But it was an amazing time that weekend. Sure. But like I said, man, when my father left the game, he left the game. And
so I think I know he's in the Hall of Fame. He's got some rings. You all have done some things to try to preserve and tell the story. I know at one point it was.
I'm still trying to keep the legacy up, man.
Exactly.
I'm trying to do some of the Pistons right now and the Washington Wizards right now to retire my father's jersey. I was in DC for something around a month ago, and I was hanging out with some of the Wizards and the owner, and his name is Ted Luonzo. Ted, I can't pronounce his last name, but I just sent you a letter, man. I'm trying to get my father's number retired with your organization. He said he told me we're working on it, so we're gonna see. Okay. And the same with the Pistons. We're gonna see. My father spent almost 25 years with the Pistons, man. But everything. I mean, to me, and I might be kind of biased. I don't know, but I think it's kind of it's a slap on my father's face, man. For everything he did for your organization, you can't put a jersey up there. I mean, he played for you, assistant coach for you, head coach for you, head scout for you, radio announcer for you, special assistance to the organization for you. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Yeah, I love it. And then also you were trying to get a stamp in his honor?
Yes, thank you, man. Yes. And this is not me, this is the government. We try to put my father on a U.S. postal stamp. And I don't know the number that you need to get him on that stamp because we don't know. But you know, we've been sending signatures and sending letters to the U.S. Postal Service. So everybody that's listening, please go to USpostalstamp.com.
Okay.
Or change.org, uschange.org. And then it'll come up, and all you got to do is put Earl Lloyd in the search box, and everything will come up as far as signing up for the stamp.
Okay. Yeah, as we come to close, you and your brother also have a foundation in his name, right?
Well, I have mine, and my brother's, his name is Kenny Lloyd. He has his.
Okay.
His is called the Lloyd Family Foundation.
Okay.
And mine is called the Earl Lloyd Foundation.
Okay, I love it.
So we both.
Did you ever brag to somebody, like a girl, talking about, hey, my dad did this to try to get sweet on a girl?
No. My father was coaching, and some guy had I left Halle in the 4th grade, I think, man, and I went to a private school, and it was this girl there that I liked, and some other guy liked it too. And I told her, I said, he can't do what I can do for you. I said, how about we have a date, we go to a Piston game. But my father, at that time, was like, I don't think we should do that. You know, some girl, you know, you're in the 4th grade, you know, man.
Yeah, but I understand. Yeah, you gotta use what you use.
But yeah, so the answer to the question is yes, I did.
Hey, my brother, I thank you for coming on the channel.
Anthony Brogdon, man. Hey, man, like I said, we've been friends since we were kids, though, man. Nothing but love, man.
Yes, sir.
Nothing but love. You know that.
I appreciate you doing this, man. This is
next time I'm in town, we gonna get together.
And that's for certain. Everybody, you see what I do? I might even be a little heavyweight myself because I run with heavyweights.
I see. No, you're the heavyweight.
Yes, I love it, man. Everybody, hit the subscribe button to the channel. Hit the like button on this video. I know you like what my man said. Hit the notifications bell. Tell somebody about Strong Inspirations. Don't keep it to yourself. And to you, my brothers, and I say this from all the way back from the beginning of the days, I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I love what you're doing, living up to that. And you do in your way, live up to that legacy that he and the foundation that he made for you and your brother, and carrying it on, keeping this history alive. That's a beautiful thing. Stay straight, stay safe, strong, and keep going. I appreciate you coming on the channel, man.
And one other thing, though, man, with my foundation, man, I gotta say this, man, I gotta put this name out there also. I don't do it by myself, man. And my other brother name is David Spivey. And he helps me. He helps me out too. So I gotta give him some love with our foundation that we have.
Okay, we're gonna keep that in. David Spivey. All right. Oh, what's the foundation name? What's your website?
The Earl Lloyd Foundation.
Okay. There it is, everybody. We're going to close on that. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you, Anthony. Be cool. I'll talk with you, man.